where do everyday people stand? Where do they go for help? So we don't, there is nowhere to turn for help. And who is protecting everyday people? If you can't protect your own military, what about us as human beings being used, as lab rats? Where's our protection in all this? And what comes of all of our DNA? Where does that road then take us? So I'll be interested in meeting a few more professionals and things like that to get their take on it, because unless it happens in the military, abduction does happen outside the military. Look at other people. There's accidental cases. There's deliberate cases. It's across the board, and I think sometimes they're looking at it and definitely from the wrong angle. They may be spot on some of it, and it may be that they can't do anything. But there's so many avenues that they could go down to make things better or clearer for the human population. And what I mean by that is just come out, which they have done very quietly, and said, yes, aliens are real, blah, blah, blah. Well, if they are real, abduction cases are real. And then you're on the side of, well, never mind the military, because it's the taxpayer paying for it all. What about all the human lives that have been wasted or costed or damaged or hurt? Like people that have lost their jobs, their families, their loved ones. They've been incarcerated wrongly just for saying they've seen a UFO. No, I'm saying, but they've been abducted or they've been hurt. It's proven now that UFOs hurt people. They're paying veterans compensation. Veterans that have been here in the UK from America. So, that's just step one. What about the other 25 steps behind that? So, and then, well, humans, if you got run over in a street by a member of the public, they'll be accountable. They'll be accountable to a court. If you got run over by the military, they'll be accountable to you through a military court. Where is this accountability? It can't be one way. It works both ways. So I think a lot of people do miss that in a lot of ways. So there is, in reflection, there is people that are owed apologies, they're owed compensations, their lives back, their loved ones back, people that have died from this. There has been so much loss, wrongly accumulated grief just by everyday people that this thing's happened to. They've not gone out and sought this. They've not said, oh, I'll join the army and see a UFO, or I'll join the US Air Force or the UK British Forces and I'll see a UFO. These things have gone to them and happened to them. So they've been damaged unintentionally. They've not joined up for it. So that's even sadder. So these things that are happening and does happen to everyday people like me, and there is no recourse, there is no help, there is no comfort, and there's no protection, and there's no guarantee it's never going to happen again. So I can understand when they, if the government doesn't want to frighten the public and say, oh, we've got no defence against it. We know you don't have defence against it. But if you all come together a bit more, listen to abductees, listen to people that know that have been there, all this back engineered stuff that you have, that's a road, just share it with everybody else. Two heads are better than one. There's so many other things that could become of this. But you want us to move forward with a space race, generationally wise, and across the earth. Everyone unite, and we're moving forward with the next generation. But you can't help the generation you're living in now. If you can't help yourself or help the people around you, there is no hope for the future. Moving forward, where do you draw the line with humanity? Well, do you tell the truth? You're not doing that. Are you helping them? You're not doing that. Are you protecting them? You're not doing that. So the three things that you should be doing, you're not. And that's not a basis for a space program. That's not a basis to help each other in humanity, let alone daily lives. So there's a lot of things I think the government are withholding, because just for those three facts alone, so we've got to start somewhere. There's loads of great, like I said last week, loads of great books. I encourage everyone to read. Go out there, know your stuff, read different people, read everybody that you can. Sorry, there was Paula Harris. I couldn't remember her name last week. It was Paula Harris that told me to read it all. So guys, just read everything that you can, and everybody you can. It is good. It gives you a better understanding of what ufology what part of ufology you'd like to follow. Obviously abduction, because that's what's happened to me, and it's learning how to understand how it's affected me. Um, Hindsight is a very good thing, but it does take in years, all my life, to understand that and look back. And it's about how helping other people now. It's helping myself to help me and helping other people along the way that this has happened to. People want the fight for justice, or where's Batman when you need him? Where's the put the bat signal up, if you like. I think they've come a long way with the talks in America, but there's nothing happening in the UK, nothing at all. So it continues, but now the sightings are becoming more and more pronounced across the world. There's lots of theories going about. They were here before us. Well, this was their planet, and we came along. You got the panspermia theory. Did we invade their land and come here? Were they here all along? Are they just been a different species from us that live underneath the water? Like they said, it is a great place to hide. We don't look under the water enough to be honest. So we're missing so much. Focused is in the wrong direction, I think. So there's loads of other theories where they're from and why they're here. Well, we know that they're here. They've saying origin intent for a long time. It's what way you want to weigh things up. They've got 70 years worth of films, records, stories, accounts, photographs, evidence, DNA, recovered craft, all types of scans, x-rays, drawings, pictures, needlework, prints. It goes on and on and on. And they've had 70 years to evaluate that evidence. That's about all the hieroglyphs and going into deserts and tombs and under the ground and modern technology and scans. So there is so much. They've got over 70 to 100 years worth of evidence, and they've had 70 to 100 years to evaluate it. And you're telling me in 5 to 10 years they can create mobile phones, they can create drones, they create this, and this. They can't answer one simple question, or they can't evaluate 100 years worth of evidence. If they're confiscating it and there's nothing there, one, why are they confiscating it, and two, why are they holding it a secret? If there's nothing there, then there's nothing to confiscate. It's a bit of a two-edged sword. So lots of things going on, but I want to take clearer steps. Like again, I said with the documentary. But yeah, so that's my good bit of news for Tommy for today, is that hopefully, so we're looking at maybe next year, if I get funding, filming, because I want to look at cinematographers again, look at some of their work things out. Like I said, I'm writing loads of stuff down. It's just going to take a while to sort it out, know exactly what I want, how it's going to be laid down, and then carry it on from there. And then while I'm doing that, I've just got to wait for my funding forms to come back. Hopefully it's going to be positive news. And if it is, we'll be away. And I'll let you know more about that maybe in an update next year. Or I'm going to say, yes, hello, we're ready to film, or we're really going to start and do it, or it'll be one of those things that never came off and didn't get the funding. So we won't know. Time will tell, as they say, so to speak. But with that, I'll hand it back to Tommy. But yeah, so guys, keep liking our page, keep finding us. We keep getting banned from YouTube. But yeah, like I said, you can find my books, Amazon, Kindle, they're unlimited. They're free, or you can buy them. Tommy.
Hello, everybody, again. So Tina has something really cool going on, but I have a suggestion, Tina. We should start a GoFundMe. If people like the idea, you'll get money right away. So with what's going on in the UFO world with all this garbage coming out, you might want to hear
Hold on, Tommy. Say everything again, Tommy.
You can't hear me? You can't hear me right now, Tina?
No, yeah, I can hear bits. It's just that they keep freezing you. If you say it all again, then it's freezing you. Sorry.
Let me try one thing. I'm turning off my computer, my other computer. I was just trying to get the new time frame on all the sites that I put it up on. But most of them will listen to it later anyway, my friends. So here's the thing. If you listen to the UFO shows, listen to the specials, listen to everything, listen to what Congress is talking and saying, nobody's coming out with what's really going on as far as aliens, what they did, what they're doing, why they're here, how long they've been here. But I will say this, what I know from my personal experiences and people that I dealt with directly involved, including time travel, uh, aliens don't never really stayed here for any great period of time. All right, they work with people here always. They work with the giants. They work with the little people. They work with every race that was here, not in a good way ever. So when Stephen Gray goes, "All aliens are good," he has no clue what he's talking about. But when I was pulled into it at 6. I saw my first UFO coming to abduct my brother. At 12, I saw my first alien in my house. So by the time I was 16, I was more into a couple other things. I was trying to get into spiritualism because I was working with, I was a high priest working with entities, deities. I mean, all that stuff's real if you follow and really study and work at it to find the truth. But in my interim, when I started seeing ships all the time, I wasn't filming them. I really didn't want to, but I mean, I could be driving on the highway and this spinning ship would be above me, following me for a while. I was with a medicine woman on Long Island for an hour. It followed me. It never did anything to me, but it stayed on top of me the whole time going through Long Island. Uh, so they're there. They're easy to film if they let you. And now, there's a big thing that people don't know in the UFO world. They go blah 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 blah. No, UFOs have somebody driving it, and it's not a Russian or a Chinese person or a German person. They don't have the ability to fly like UFOs that aliens drive. The speed, the distance, the movement, we cannot duplicate it in any way. Well, I'm not going to say certain things until maybe the end. But here's the thing. If you're watching a ship and it stops, it's not a satellite, period. If it goes backwards, if it goes sideways, it's not a satellite, period. If it starts blinking at you, it's not a satellite either. Now, you see a plane going over. They got blinking lights. There's a color light on both sides, and that shows you that it's a plane in which direction it's going. All right. Uh, and I can go into that. I work with a scientist who said that aliens have the ability to create a fake ship to make it look like a plane. All right. And he got 4 degrees in different things and stuff. Uh, but he was attacked for a while. He actually was put in jail and got out. All these people that I deal with, like I'll say some names. John Ford is in the Long Island nut house. He filmed the ship on the ground, crashed on the ground, people, aliens laying on the side of it. I saw that video. All right. It was in 1996. That year was the worst year in the UFO world because they took out 100 UFO people, and they took out 100 people in the scientific world that were working on high technology and advanced. I can't even figure out a word to say for it, but it was advanced technology, which they had to remove because they didn't want that going public in any way. So, but then the big names taken out. Phil Snyder, John
Yeah.
Ford was put in jail that year. So it was a bad year for the truth of UFOs to get out. And after that, it only became worse because from 96 to now, I lost a total of 20 people. 16 of my friends in the UFO world, speakers, and many of them were top speakers, were taken out. All right. One of them died, but he told me that the government can't take him out until a certain month, and then he died that month. Good, another friend, not close, but Jesse Ventura did a show with Fred Bell. And it was a really important one because they were doing a show on the HARP system. And the first thing Jesse Ventura says, aren't you afraid the government's going to come after you? And he goes, no, the government, I work for the government. He worked for the government since he was 14 years old. And he goes, well, what about me? What about me? He goes, well, you're
I
protected.
saw that show.
He was mainstream. But guess what?
Died.
Fred Bell was found dead in a hotel room a day and a half later.
That's
All
right. I
right.
remember that. Jesse Ventura went on telly about it. I remember
And
that.
I was friends with him. I deal with his family right now. They're selling his company, uh, and things like that, Paradigm. Uh, but here's the thing, people. When people tell the truth, they don't survive too long in the real world. I'm not lecturing anymore. When I was with Sergeant 18, I said his name, Brian Williams, we were lecturing for a couple of years. We lectured all over the United States with global sciences. Somebody was taken out every year before they got there. And one of the last years we were together, we ended up, I'm not going to get into that in detail, but we got a letter from NASA saying this is not a threat. This is just a warning. Step back and watch what happens. You have no right to interfere with what's going to go on in the UFO world. All right. And this person we found out died a couple months later. And he was involved with sending that space shuttle up into space with all the things from people and put things in there. Uh, and during that time frame, I started losing all my friends. A friend of mine worked for NASA. He had a machine. He designed all the parts for the space shuttle. And basically, we got together and I showed him some UFOs. He goes, well, they don't want me dealing in UFO world. And all of a sudden, 2 days later, we were supposed to get together. We were going to create something really incredible. But it never got back to me. And I called and called and I called the school to see if his kids were in school. Everything, his whole family disappeared. All right. And that was my friend that I knew since I was 11 years old. So I know he wasn't a fake. But the people that I dealt with in the UFO world that were real, uh, they're taken out seriously. And 90% of them, they always try to say suicide. Phil Snyder couldn't have committed suicide the way he died. And what happened to him? He went public. The people that I dealt with, now Sean David Martin was the top psychic, but he also was one of the top speakers in the UFO world. He was on Coast to Coast, on Coast to Coast originally every month, and he used to bring me on every other month. But during that time frame, he put out a couple books. His books is one of the most important books in the UFO world. All right, Sands of Time, and you should read it because it goes into the detail of the beginning in the 1900s when it first started, when the Philadelphia experiment happened and all that. It was all related. Everything is related in every
Yeah.
level in this reality. Just learning how to piece it together is complicated. Spiritualism, witchcraft, demonism, psychic abilities, and entities, all of it's connected in some form. But the government's never going to get into that. And in Congress, when Stephen Greer went to them about UFOs, they were going, oh, because they're Christians, we'll say they're demons. For them to say that even just proves they have no mentality. All right. And there's a difference between demons and aliens. Obviously, an alien has a body, it eats, and it travels in a real ship. So that's the first separation. You can't compare it to a demon or an entity that possesses somebody or things like that. So in the real world right now, with these UFOs everywhere, it's easy to film them. I'll go near the end of the show, I'll go over a couple little techniques. But you have to realize, you put yourself out there trying to find something or understand something, the government watches you. All right. I'm watched. I know it. I got my computer stripped twice in 25 years. And I had some important pictures that nobody else in the United States had. A picture of Denver Airport with the steel flooring saying U.S. New World Order. And it was taken out and they put a fountain over that. All right. So, people, I'm a rebel. I always have been. And I challenge all these UFO people on their truth. When people say they've been abducted, not like Tina, people that were always abducted, then now they say, well, no, I'm an experiencer. And I hate that word. We both hate it because basically these people are delusional, programmed. They have no clue what really happened if they were even abducted. They might have had a bad dream, might have been a bad drug, but again, if they were programmed, they're going to say some incredible story like some of these people do. Well, I went to Koshkosh land and they showed us these spaceships and they showed us these cities and all these weird things that, all right, even if they were, they're not here to help us, people. They never were. When Tesla worked with an alien race, and he did, and he was given 200 inventions. He didn't go to college to learn how to create time travel. He didn't go to college to learn how to create the HARP system. He didn't go to college to learn how to create a directed energy beam. All right. They gave him 50 deadly weapons. All right. They gave him free energy, which he brought out. But again, free energy is not going to save us, which Stephen Greer goes on and on and on about how it's going to save the world if we use it. No, it's not. I
Didn't
was
happen in Europe this week. They had a blackout in Spain. They said it as an aerial or a thingy phenomenon, aerial phenomenon. In Portugal and Spain had complete blackouts. No water, no electric, no gas, no lights, no railway, no crossing lights, no emergency for 24 hours, no shops open. Panic.
We're in trouble. All right. And what's going on with the United States, with Trump, I mean, he's just feeding it. All right. But there's a major word in a sentence. It's called UN Agenda 30. All right. It was accepted by 193 countries, meaning by 2030, we will be under one world order. And it won't be Trump. Please don't worry about that. But we will be in serious trouble. Musk is dealing with this and that and the other thing, but he also admits both sides of AI. They're releasing a new AI in 6 months, roughly. It'll be more dangerous because they're also releasing 6G, which is even a more deadly weapon than 5G. We are destroying the human race. We are, whether we are, have a reason. Remember, nothing's done without a reason, whether it's perverted, twisted, or whatever. But somebody has some twisted idea of making the world better, like Mr. Musk, or making the universe better. We can't. This is hell. It doesn't get worse than this down here, because we kill, murder, rape, abuse, and those words shouldn't exist anymore. We're human, supposedly. We're supposed to respect and have some kind of feelings. Aliens do not. So I'm aware of my past lives, and then I don't get into that too much, but aliens never did anything good for a human. They programmed them to be killers. When way back in the beginning, we didn't even eat animals, people.
I think that I know for a fact that they are drawn to. When they took me, they said that they like. There's something in the water here they like, and that they're drawn to volcanoes. Like before Fukushima, the UFOs were seen in the sky. So they say, do they cause the earthquakes, or do they know one's coming and want to record it? So, but they're always about after earthquakes. So they're very drawn to our volcanism in our Earth and earthquakes.
Well, here's a problem. I came to Hawaii about 23 years ago. And when I first came here, one of the first people I met, he was a Rastafarian, and he said, I filmed ships because we were talking about UFOs already. And he goes, I want you to come to my house. I want to show you some videos of ships that were going inside the volcano. And he filmed them. And that was a long time ago. So for the technology, for them to actually take a ship and drive and go into a volcano is a lot different than ours. I mean, I shot a picture of a ship going into the sun. But here's the thing. All right, that was a while ago, and they still don't talk about that. We're having multiple earthquakes here. And right now on the planet, in a ring of fire, it has never been this bad in 100 years. So in the interim, this is only an idea that I feel, that they're testing bombs somewhere. I mean, geothermal is destroying the planet. Fracking is destroying the planet. But when they drop bombs, and they've been testing bombs here in Hawaii even, if you don't know that, up on a mountain where the Army base is, and they got high technology here. We have a HARP system on this island and a HARP system on Maui. That's the most deadliest weapon on the planet. But now they're using directed energy beams. All these things came from aliens. Mr. Tesla gave them to the United States. So other countries adapted the HARP system. But we were the first to have it. We were the first to actually do time travel, no matter what anybody tells you, people. I was friends with the only person that truly went back in time and came back, and that was the Philadelphia experiment. And even the people around that were killed, taken out, and became delusional. But in the interim, during that time frame, I met so many other people. I was working with women that were abducted. And I'm talking 52, 62 in the 70s, mid-70s, that lost their children. They were taken on a ship at 8.5 months pregnant, and they came back without their child. All right. I was with 3 different women directly working with them. One of them showed me the sonnet. They was called something else, but they took X-rays of the baby, and when she came back the next day, they said, "Oh, you can't be pregnant. You don't have any signs of even being pregnant." And then she
Yeah,
was taken up on a ship, showing her son, and said, "This is the only time you're going to get to see him." And then she had a son year and a half later, and they took that one too. So it's not like they take everybody's children. They don't take everybody to abduct them. What their reasoning is pretty, I don't know. I have no clue. Tina might find out that truth on their noses, but they're not going to tell her why she's so important to them. I mean, now she is. And I'm going to get into that in a second. But Tina, you had an operation done,
yeah,
and they filmed it in England,
yeah.
and they won't let you see it.
No.
You went to Congress, you tried, and they send you stupid letters saying it was something ridiculous. Is there any way we can get more action done and get that video?
So it's called the NHS here, National Health Service. And I had before that I had a left and right cell appendectomy, and I wound up having a bilateral hysterectomy, 3-layer cut. And they film it, and there was specialists there, and there was extra special people brought in. I know there was at least 3 or 4 anaesthetists because I'm allergic to anaesthetic. They actually walked me into the theatre to put me to sleep instead of putting me into a little room. So I saw the cameras. The cameras are in there, and you have to sign a form to say that they were going to record it when they did it. And afterwards, when I saw the lady who performed the operation, she said to me, she came over and said, "Tina, at one point, she said, you were cut in half. Your hips were up in the air." She said, "I could see inside." She said, "Your pelvis is completely," and that's in my report. That is in my medical report for discharge, saying my pelvis is completely obliterated from right to left with thousands of holes. Not just arthritic holes, they're like drilled holes. It looks like someone smacked you over and over again with a meat mallet. She said, all across both sides of your pelvis. And she said there's a membrane, like a black membrane, that goes all the way across your stomach up into your hips. She said, and I was pulling it out with both my hands. And it's apparently some of it's still in there. It's still in there. She said, I couldn't get it all. She said, I did my best. She said, "Tina, I'm so sorry." She said, yeah. So when I applied for the take this, the reason was because other people have signed consent forms to say that they're in the operating theatre, and I don't want their images released. So I thought, well, hold on, it's my private records. You're recording my operation for training purposes. You're going to show my video to other people's. Whether they actually do that, I don't know. But it was on that basis. I thought, well, if you're going to show it for training purposes or educational purposes or for, for whatever they do after, then surely you have to sign an agreement to say it's going to be released. So everyone in that theatre must have signed a form to say that they want to be on film or at least be blacked out for it to be released. So I will try again. That's not the end of the road. I have given permission for my lead investigator, David Hodgren, to speak to any of my medical professionals. So I've signed a medical release saying that he can do that at any time. So there's that. And so it actually states on my documentation that my pelvis is completely obliterated. So, and other medical evidence is that I do have, I'll get my pictures out again for next time. I have the x-ray picture of my shoulder that they can see a triangle chip inside my bone. It's actually inside my bone in my shoulder. And there's on the top of my left foot, an actual drilled screw. It's so microscopic. They said they don't have tiny drills that small to leave screw marks. So it looks as it's either done pre-birth, or the bones are so soft, or they don't know how it's done. And I've got an X-ray picture. They found it when I broke my foot and snapped my bones. That's in my foot, and they found 2 metal tiny spheres in my chest attached to my chest cavity. My bones, my ribs. One's been there quite a while because it has a membrane grown over it, and the other one is sat next to it. And that's clearly shown on my x-ray. And other medical evidence I have is that me and my partner both underwent internal scans inside the body, and we both have identical marks at the same depth inside our body from the same event, from the same abduction event. So you can't fake any of that. It's inside your body. You can't do that. So with that evidence and my hypnotic regression and lie detector test, to me that's irrefutable proof. That's medical proof.
Did you have your boyfriend cut a chip out of you even?
I've had one removed. Excuse me. I had one removed. I don't know if you can see my hand there. See the scar on my hand there? So I've had one removed already, and I had surgery on it. And after I've had surgery on it, they said that within a day, 2 days or 3 days, I had to go back 3 days later because I had a thing in my arm, which I'm not sure you'll be able to see that there. Disappeared in my arm, and then I went into hospital. They scanned it, said there's another one appeared. They can't take it out because it's right against, put between the nerve and the bloodstream. The blood, it wasn't there the week before, or it wasn't there on the X-ray, it wasn't there on the hand scan, and I had an MRI because they put they taped a cod liver oil tablet to my hand and put it in the MRI where the lump was. So they have an MRI scan to compare it. It wasn't there before, but after I had the other one out, it appeared, and it's in my hand between the nerve and the my blood flow. So they're unable to take that out. So yeah, I have that. So that's a lot of evidence, and now so I have had to have a left and right cell appendectomy as well as a hysterectomy, and whatever they found then. And I also have to have my jaw out. So looking forward to having that experience at some point this year. God knows what they find when they take that out. So I've had x-rays and scans for that purpose. And I have a Geiger counter to rule that one out. So I have a Geiger counter which I'll switch on here. I'll put it on here. Oh, it's not right this week. It's dead. Oh, it's coming on. Sorry, my mistake. There you go. Just wait for it to come on. Press on. So there you go. It's and you'll hear some clicks in a minute, and it's already giving you a little readout there at the top and bottom, and it does like background radiation. So that's a Geiger counter. There you go. It says on there. Don't know if you can see that. There you go. Okay. That's it there. You get background radiation. We had the spike there, and then it goes on. But this is something different. This measures micro tester as well. Tommy has one, and this is electrical magnetic radiation tester. There it is there. Just going to switch it on, press the red button. Now I have a safe screen computer. So when I hold it to my computer, there you go, it doesn't show, it shouldn't be showing anything. I'm not sure whether it could be the microphone's a bit close. I don't think so, but so there you go, and I put my hand up there. See that? Oh dear. So when I hold it away, normally this does not happen. So I have a safe screen, so it's not coming from my screen, and it normally says 0 on top. So top, as you can see, is volts per meter, and on the bottom there, that's going to go up because I'm going to touch it, is micro teslas. Okay, and at the moment it says safe, and when it starts beeping and showing that little red sign, it means it's not safe. So more I hold it up, there you go, the closer it gets to me, there you go, and it's saying harmful. So I'm emitting volts per meter, which is something I don't normally do sometimes. And so let's try the other side. Oh. So there you go. So I'll turn it off. So yeah. So we have that. I'm not sure what evidence that can turn up, if any, for anything. But there's the Geiger counter. And I'll normally just leave it in the room and get some background going. But I've had some very high readings of that. So yeah. Apart from that, so I think medical evidence, witness statement, because of what I witnessed, marks on my body, I have scoop mark as well, which I've had pictured. That's also in my report, my investigator's report. I have drawings, I have photographs, Yeah, so to top that up, one of my aunts also said, I'm going to get photographic evidence. When she was younger, she had an episode. She woke up one morning with drill holes all over her stomach, which are still there today. She's in her 80s, so I'll be asking her if I'll allow me to take some pictures while she's still with us, if I can. So I'm gathering more and more evidence as you're going on. I mean, this stuff started when I was 6, so over nearly 50 years ago, just under. So, it's nearly half a century to try and think. Try and think of keeping evidence for that. Yeah. So, excuse me. Yeah. So I think on the basis of that, I mean, it just takes an airman just because he's employed by the US Air Force to say I've seen something. That's true, but if a general member of the public comes forward and said this happened to me, and I've got a written account, I've got photographs, or I've got drawings, I've got medical evidence in more than one case. It's happened to someone else who was with me at the time. So you've got a double abduction with medical evidence for both of us. And now a hypnotic regression with a lie detector test. So I don't think you're going to get much better than that. So there's lots of evidence to be precluded, and even to this, day and age. And I'm going to put a report together. Like I said, I want to do a documentary and a mini series of documentaries. So, like I said, hopefully this little funding form. I'm going to start sending off for my funding, see what they've come back and say. And yeah, all you're going to do is apply and see if they say yes or see if they say no. So if they're interested enough, they're going to say yes. If not, they're going to say no, and we'll carry on. But until then, there's loads of things anybody interested in the world of ufology could do. Speak to someone like Tommy with years of experience if you're just coming out. But there's lots of things people could do. But with me, I found a great guy, David Hodron, from the Birmingham UFO group. I think he sits on the chair of his ISA for the UK. Gary Heseltine is head of the one for the UK. But I've met both gentlemen, spoke to them very, like I said last week, very, very lovely people. David did my contact report, and he was very in-depth, very open about it, very professional, very great guy. But I produced this book. It was meant for bigger pictures, like our pictures, to go in here, but I'm going to make my next book smaller and try to get included pictures in because Amazon couldn't even do it. But this is just literally my account. Obviously, I have questions going on. Things I want answered, professional answers. But yeah, you can get this. If you want to read it, it's absolutely free on Kindle on Amazon. You can buy it for £10 on Amazon. You got Kindle Unlimited. It's free, or you can buy it on Kindle. So it's free on Unlimited. So read it for free if you can. If not, buy the book. It's £10. It's less than a packet of cigarettes. Get the book. It's called The Bonding, The Truth About Alien Abduction. This is what happened to me. And so guys, get it. It's on Amazon. It could happen to you, or it's already happened to you. And if you want someone to talk to, years of experience, me and Tommy have that both between us of many, many years of experience in helping others or keeping it in and knowing what it's like to come out. But excuse me, getting sore throat again. But for me this week, that's it, guys. But I will be back next week with a vengeance. Hopefully Tommy will have more, and I'm going to try and get some pictures together to show you guys next week if we can. That would be good. So for our viewers to see a few pictures, and I'll hold up some of my X-rays, so I'll dig some of them up for you guys. But Tommy has books, and I want him. Tommy, dig some of your books out next week to show your book covers, please. They're well worth a read, guys. You don't know what you're missing. But for me here at Tina Barrett in Southampton in the UK, I'm TA Barrett on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, but I don't normally go on there. Like I said, I've had a year off. I've had loads of things going on. But hopefully now I'm coming back with vengeance. But for me, Tina Barrett here in the UK. Well, and Tommy in Hawaii and the US. I'll see you all guys. Thanks for watching. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Tina. All right, Tina Burr, great person. One of the few people that I truly trust in the UFO world about what she says and what she's going through. we've been doing a show for over 3 years, and I made it by a Geiger counter a long time ago, and it actually proved that she was radioactive all the time. The hospitals, I don't know what they do, what they are telling her, but they're doing all kinds of things to her, telling her all kinds of different things, saying she has this, saying she has that, and they all keep changing. So, and my thing to her was the aliens are keeping her alive. I mean, when we first started, she had all the symptoms of radiation poisoning happening all the time. I'm not going to get into all that, but I didn't think she was going to be around long at all. But the symptoms started stopping, and radiation doesn't disappear in a day, a week, or a year. So whatever's going on is really incredible in a lot of different ways. That's why I can't wait for her to get hypnotized. I was a hypnotist for many years, but she's in England and I'm in Hawaii. And she wants to come to Hawaii, but she's got a lot of things going. She's at the hospital a lot. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on with that. But now let's get back to a couple little things that I consider really important. When we talk about what the government's doing, and this is a fact, they don't release anything for 25 to 50 years after they create it. Unimportant things that they consider weapons and things like that. But they should be releasing their new spaceship, cost $44 billion, not Musk, it was the United States secret department that worked on that, but it's done. It has almost every weapon that Tesla created on it. So it'll be the most advanced technology on this planet when it comes out, not what Musk is doing or anybody else. All right. But on the other hand, Musk created a ship. It has 2 weapons on it. It's the fastest ship known right now to travel around the planet. All right. That's a dangerous, dangerous weapon. So who's going to get it? Who's going to use it? And what does Musk have the right to do with that? But if he sold it to China, Russia, Germany, it would be a terrorist act. All right. But nobody's talking about that. And he's coming out with his mobile home and things like that, his new car and things. But here's the problem. He's spending government's money on a space program. All right. He believes we need to go to Mars. Well, I'm not going to get into that whole theory of what's going on Mars, but I do know certain things that do exist on Mars. And it was proved a long time ago, people. So the technology that they did get from recovering UFOs helped them get an advanced technology to create what they have. Now, if you pull up all the old videos where they say Russia had satellites and spaceships and all these things, no, their satellite was like, they were bigger. Everybody made bigger ones. Now they're real teeny. But their spaceship, it could barely get off the ground. It wasn't traveling through space at the speed of light. It wasn't doing a lot of incredible, amazing maneuvers. It didn't go much anywhere. So when they say this, that, and the other thing, even Billy Meyer's ships, I don't know if you know who he is, pull him up. He's not big anymore. He did a couple of things to screw up his credibility, but he worked with the play agents, all right? And they look like us. They're kind of more scraggly. I guess they don't care about the way they look the way we do. But in the interim, my take on it is they are us from the future. All right. And they're watching us so we don't screw up the present enough to destroy the future. So that remains in the air. What would happen if we destroyed the present? Would the future still be there? Meaning another race that's human on another planet or another dimension and things like that. So there's a lot of different things going on outside of trying to eliminate the population. Now, realize war was created to eliminate population. I don't know if you know that. And it was also to create money markets. Why do you think children, I call them children, 17 years old, go to war? In the United States, Vietnam and other countries, they go at 14. What can a 14-year-old person do out on a battlefield that he should be doing, or why he even should be there? And now Mr. Trump wants to make sure women don't get out there. I mean, if a woman's willing to risk her life for the United States, she should be allowed to. And they'd rather force a young boy that doesn't want to do anything to go in. You know, our morals are so twisted, if we have any, if you consider anything we do moralized. Demoralized is more like it. Uh, it's sad because, you know, religions have taken away the truth and fed people more lies than any kind of truth that people can imagine. I do a lot more shows. I wrote and I write about spiritual truth. I don't write about UFOs. I do a manual. I have a manual. If you want to see a UFO, I will send it to you for free. It's the steps and things to do to actually see a UFO. Anybody can see a UFO in a week. And I'm telling you, that's the truth. If you're willing to put the time in and your sky is clear enough to see the stars and things, you'll be able to see UFOs. And they're not all the same kind. But here's the thing, and I was trying to bring it out when I was talking to Tina. They're intelligent beings, not spiritual beings. Stephen Greer is way off his bird when he talks. They're not spiritual, and they're not religious in any way. All right, they don't have feelings and emotions like we do. So when they do what they do on their bodies and stuff is not normal, and it's not beneficial, and they don't care what they do to us when they do it. Plus their diet. I'll get into their diet for the last 5 minutes of the show. But when they're here, they got a reason to be here, people, and it's not to mine gold. Zachariah Sitchin created the biggest farce story to get most of the UFO world people to believe it. And all they talk about is the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki are not going to come and save us in any way, not going to do anything else to us either. All right? We got 9 races here, and they're the deadly races. They're the ones that control the universe, our so-called universe. All right. And if Musk thinks he can go to Mars, do what he wants, and all these people think they can do what they want on the moon, they'll be in a big surprise when they start trying to. First off, how long do you think before you can go on Mars and take a shower and go swimming or anything even close to that? What do you think you're going to do if you do get there? What are you going to eat when you get there? All right. You know, all these scenarios to create a city there and fly everything from here to there to build and create and all that is ridiculous. I've been trying to get in touch with Musk for a year, but mainly I write him about 20 to 30 letters a day. I'm on 6 of his sites, and they're all fake. I mean, I was promised a Tesla car. I was promised lots of money. I mean, everything he says is a lie to me. I'm sure he's playing games with everybody else. But in the interim, he's taking most of the government's money for his space program. He doesn't come out of his pocket. So, and his spiritual side, he doesn't have one. I wanted to talk to him. I'm trying. I said, give me 5 minutes. I said, look, I don't even want your car. I'd rather talk to you for 5 minutes, well, 10 minutes at least. All right. But that's not happening. Well, I'll set it up, and then I get something, buy this and buy Bitcoin. And I have another one to, well, you got to be part of my club. But he did say, I'll fly you to Texas. I said, I can't stay there long. He goes, well, I'll fly you here for a few hours if that's going to be all right for you. I said, yeah, do it. But that didn't happen either. You know, he puts a lot of sentences on his site, X. He's going to do this, and I'll do that. They're lies. But he did put millions of dollars out there for people voting for Trump. Why would he do that? What's in it for him with Trump? He wants to be involved with the space program. Biden, well, I mean, if Kamala got in, they wouldn't be so concerned about the space program, and they might cut him off. All right, we're spending, and this is no lie, people. You could believe anybody you want, but I'm going to tell you, they're not telling you how much they spend in a year's time. The Army, the Navy, the Marines, and the space program. And it's in the trillions, people. Multiple trillions of dollars. All right. Do we need more weapons? We have high technology that they're playing with. A directed energy beam is one of the most dangerous weapons on the planet right now, and they're using it. And they're not using it on other countries. Well, they might be, but they're also using it on the United States. So, people, are you ready to deal with the truth? If you want to know the truth, you're going to have to do a lot more searching and following people, check them out. But 16, no lie, of my good friends were taken out by the government. Now, 3 of them were put in jail. One of them got out because he was dying. Another one still in jail, worked high rank in the Navy. He was going to release the UFO files. They framed him for killing a person. Now, John Ford, still alive in a nut house on Long Island, shot an incredible video of a UFO crash, and I saw it, but he's in jail since 1996. The nut house, sorry. They don't even want to put him in jail. In a nut house, what they do every year, they say, well, he has to be reevaluated, meaning he can't get out for another year. But since 96, that's a pretty long time, considering he filmed a ship crash, and they know it. He actually was framed, and they said he had a barrel of uranium, and he was going to put it in toothpaste and kill government people. And this was all over New York and New Jersey news. I lived there. I was going to see him, trying to, when I met a group of people. Well, 2 people directly. I went to their house, and they monitor computers around the United States. They can monitor a computer from 25 miles away. But they said, look, don't even go to try to see him because he'll take out your whole family and then you too. Way back in 96, 97. So there's a lot going on when it comes to the UFO world. And Stephen Greer thinks he's going to get Congress to say something. They don't know. They're all farts. They have no clue of anything. They shouldn't be there. They get paid, and they're going to get paid when they leave. Why? Does everybody else get paid when they leave their jobs? The kind of money they get paid? Why? Why do they get more money? Because they work for the government. And who's the government? People controlling people. People, we're in serious trouble. Aliens are not going to help us. All right? And when Mr. Musk finds out that they're not going to help him in any way either, it'll be a shock to him. But he doesn't know much about them. I've been trying to talk to him. The same as all the UFO people. They're all afraid of me. Richard Dolan won't get back to me. I stayed on his site for a year and paid him money to talk to him. He never got back to me once. I said, why pay for it? He's not going to talk to me. Skinwalker Ranch. I paid for that site for a year. Not one of them would talk to me. I said, look, you can deal with digging holes. There's an alien ship under there. Whether you're going to be allowed to pull it out ever publicly is a different story. Now, I've been trying to deal with. All right, I can show you a book right now. I got a set of books from him. He's trying to put Space Station up in space. All right. He owned the Skinwalker Ranch and sold it. But he's going into the spiritual end of things now, believe it or not. I don't know if he's really going to plan on still going out into space and staying in the space station. All right. These people hide the truth because when he sold the Skinwalker Ranch, later on the Skinwalker Ranch, they found out a lot of the things that happened there. I know a lot more what happened there because he went to my friend's house to buy his land. Because I work with, I hate to say too many names, but I worked with a friend who was taken out. He claimed he killed 18 Greys. I know he killed one. That's all I would admit to. I would admit to 18. He had the blood tested by the same person that did the operation on EB. If you don't know who EB is, they came up with the same conclusion. The blood is not of this world. All right. So, why are aliens here? And things like that. You should really start thinking about that. What does anybody need? The first thing anybody needs, naked and afraid. What's the first thing they need? Fire, water, Food, right? What's any entity, any being with a body need? To eat, no? What do you think aliens eat? Phil Snyder proved it. And that's why they couldn't let him stick around too much longer. But if you think about it, and then you hear all these dumb UFO people say, well, if they wanted to kill us, they could. They could take out the... Of course they could. If you have a farm and you're raising chickens, roosters, and cows, are you going to kill them all because you want to? No, you're going to keep them for food. And if you think humans are anything more important than that for aliens, take a guess. Now, what they do come here for, outside of food, is blood, semen, and ovaries. That's what they can clone and how they can clone. Now, the government, this is going to be something you probably never heard. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I know UFO people talk about it. The government's been cloning greys. All right. They abduct cows as well for a reason. They grow embryos inside it. Now, why would they want to grow greys? There's enough of them here that they had to kill and everything else. But if the world becomes radioactive, which it will, you won't be able to survive on top of the planet. So who are they going to get to do all the work? Aliens, if they're radioactive, and it wouldn't bother them. That's just a small little note nobody talks about. That's pretty important. While they got underground cities all over the United States, Jesse Ventura was the first person to expose that. And he did it. I'm surprised they didn't take it to show off before it was on TV. I guess they really didn't realize what he was going to say. But every show he did, he proved things. Important things that nobody else did. Up until the last day when Fred Bell was on the show and he says, oh, you're worried? And then he was taken out and then they took the show off. All right, people. You know, the people that are important in the UFO world are no longer there. In the UFO world, when I was lecturing after 96, one of the most famous ones of them all important because he had the highest clearance in the government and everything else, and he was out talking. His name was Bob Dean. I used to talk to him and say, you look like an alien. Are you part alien? Because, you know, the government is playing those games that have been. Off in New York, they have a little teeny island where they were doing all kinds of weird experiments with humans and animals. 2 different things were found. My father found one of them. So they're real. They're weird entities, created entity, creatures, whatever you want to call them. But I had a picture of it, disappeared. But what they were doing then, I got my PC plugged in. My battery's going dead. I'm going to have to call you, close the show. My battery's closing out. I could probably get over my other computer, but I don't want to put any more information out there. But you want to talk to me, call me, Hawksblood1AOL.com anytime. I will get back to you. And if you have anything important to say, we'll bring you on the show. All right, till next time. Peace, love, compassion. Get whatever you want out of this world, but don't settle for the lies.